Hello, fellow HubSpotters. This is Emma with Kiwi Creative, and today we're talking about HubSpot's new Leads object. Many of you are probably already familiar with Salesforce Leads and how that compares to contacts, and have been patiently waiting for the day when HubSpot can replicate this functionality. So if you have the Pro or Enterprise tier of Sales Hub, you're in luck. You have it now. In this video, I will define the Leads object, demonstrate how to turn it on, set it up, and get rolling, and then discuss how this relates to other HubSpot objects and fields. So here's the punchline. The Leads object is a replacement for the lead status property that lives on the contact record. The lead status property is meant to help sales reps identify and prioritize sales-ready leads. But up until now, it lacked the distinction between sales lead and other contacts in your CRM. Now with the Leads object, since it's a standalone independent object and not a contingent field, just like contacts and companies, this feature is now designed specifically for sales reps. So let me show you how to turn it on, set it up, and get rolling. Okay, you'll notice I'm in my demo portal, and we know that always looks a little odd. I'm simply on my default home page. And in order to get this bad boy turned on, we're going to visit the settings cog in the top right-hand corner. In our left-hand column, we want to scroll down until we find objects underneath our data management tab. And this time you're going to notice there's a Leads object. We can go ahead and pick that. And you'll notice I've not turned it on thus far. So in order to get this bad boy going, very simple, start using Leads. And you'll notice there's some default functionality already. You can determine what you'd like. Specifically, what is the relationship between lead and lifecycle stage? And we're going to look in a moment. Lifecycle stage and lead stage are not the same thing, okay? So first things first, do we want to create a lead when a regular old contact hits a certain lifecycle stage? That could be sales qualified lead. If a contact is nurtured throughout HubSpot's marketing automation and has qualified itself either through lead scoring or conversations as a sales qualified lead, maybe that happens and automatically they're created as a lead. And we're going to see how that can be kind of cool. We can also then set contact or company lifecycle stages for associated leads. So if there are 5 people at a specific company, one of them has become sales qualified, do we then want to say everybody is? We can also turn this off, right? So it could be that potentially you're talking to many divisions of a particular company and assigning all of this status to them wouldn't be appropriate. Now let's take a peek at lead stages, the secondary tab. You can update these stages. Okay, cool. Really cool, whatever, right? Whatever's appropriate for your business process. You can add additional stages. You'll notice there's these headers. So connected and really cool are under in progress, meaning a sales rep is actively pursuing them. You can change qualified to say something different. You can also say when a lead, not a contact, reaches the qualified stage, we want to automatically create a deal. We can also require reasons for why a lead is suddenly not a viable lead anymore. So of course we can change that name. We can also say, hey, why is this person now disqualified? Not a good fit. Ghosted us. I've had clients that use the ghost emoji. That's hard to report on, but fun. So you can update this to be whatever best fits your process, right? You do not need to keep these out of the box values, but you certainly can. Okay, so now we have that bad boy on. Let's take a look at how this looks, right? So first things first, we're going to visit sales and select the prospecting tab. For me, it says new. Up until now, it said beta. Let's take a peek at this. Now, please note, folks need a paid sales seat in order to get the full shebang out of this prospecting tab, okay? So obviously, as we know, your sales reps typically get the paid sales seats. You can have as many users as you want, but paid seats, standard Sales Pro, get 5. Standard Sales Enterprise, I believe, get 10. You can always purchase additional, but this is one of the functionalities you get with that extra check you're writing. You'll notice this is kind of cool. And of course, this is demo, so I have no homework. What are my tasks? What's my schedule? If you're hooked up, oh, look at that. If you're hooked up to your calendar, we can look at sequences and we can see our leads. This is just a quick overview. If I click the leads tab right here, I don't have any leads. What do we do? Well, I can add them one by one like this. I can search a specific lead. Now, please note, only contacts that you own will show up here. Okay, so I apparently don't own any, but this is where you'd be able to see only things you own. So let's give myself a couple contacts of these lovely fake people, right? I'm going to just say all these people. I just own them. Okay. There I am. All right. Emma owns them now. Okay. I own 6 whole contacts. Sales, prospecting, leads tab. I can add those leads one by one. I don't even remember who they were. Or I can click actions and pull in leads. I can pull in several based on my criteria. So perhaps what would be appropriate is I want to pull in all the leads that hit sales qualified within a certain amount of time. Now, this is a demo portal, so good luck because it's not real people doing real things. But I could say maybe pull in leads and it'll indicate to me how many meet this criteria. Of course, yours could absolutely look different. I'll pull in those leads, going to make sure they upgrade. We just saw this a moment ago to sales qualified lead. I'm sales, it's now qualified. And I'll hit next. Hooray. All right, I now have 2 leads. Now here's what's kind of cool. Okay, if I were to click on this fake person, it opens up a side panel. So all my work can be done right from here. I can see that the stage is attempting. I can update that based on if I've actually connected. I can see what's been happening. They received an email 23 days ago. I can schedule another activity right now. So everything is meant to be nice and neat in one place. This is meant to save you time clicking through task queues and looking at contact records and scrolling through their activity log. This is meant to be all one-stop shop. I can see here the most recent communications, right? And for those of you cooking with gas using playbooks, I can access this right here. So if I'm going to make a phone call and call this lovely person, I can open up a playbook and have that right in front of my eyes as I'm making that call. Similarly, when I click the company, I can now see there's 1 lead at this company, right? Again, a one-stop shop. Here's another really cool feature about this prospecting tabs. If you notice under actions, I can view lead funnel report, right? So I can see this is a default report. I've not updated this at all. You certainly can. As we know, you can customize reports, but this is under my reports and you'll notice it's under the sales category. There's a lead funnel. So I can see I have 2 open leads of all time. They're not making any money because they're not real. Who's the owner? I can look at the lead journey and play around with this. Get comfortable. Look at different date range. Look at different reps of who's owning what. So get button pushing happy and utilize this, okay? Okay, let's talk about what's connected, because as we know, you turn on one cool thing in HubSpot, it knocks down a bunch of dominoes. First things first, it's kind of connected to contacts in that it directly correlates to that lifecycle stage. We know that, right? So we just looked at if I progress someone to lead, it automatically updates their lifecycle stage to sales qualified, okay? And we know we can access that on the contact record. So that's the connection right there. Remember, lifecycle stage and lead stage, not the exact same thing, but be mindful. If you make somebody a lead, but they really shouldn't be a sales qualified lead, you could be progressing it in error, okay? Prospecting tab, we've already looked at that extensively. Sales, prospecting. This is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck and really where you live, right? In your leads tab. It also affects reports. We know that as well. We just took a look. View lead funnel report, right? We've talked about how that's connected, how you can play with that, customize that, stick it on a dashboard, right? Actions, customize, export, click around and get comfortable with that. Additionally, this can connect to your company. So let's look at a company record. You'll notice, based on your settings, okay, when I look at a company record, not an individual contact, you'll notice in the far right-hand column, just like always, this is where our associations live. Well, it's associated to a contact. What do you know? It's also associated to a lead. And this gives you a mini snapshot of what we see on that prospecting tab, okay? Based on your settings, talking to you, super admins, as we know, this right-hand column can look very different. Maybe you're not using payments. We don't display that. Maybe you're not using my custom object cake orders. We don't display that, right? Invoices, things of that nature. So this can look different. As an individual rep, you can, of course, use your Mickey Mouse hand, grab it and drag it where you need it to go, if that's what you want to see front and center. Also, workflows. This leads object can interact with workflows. Check this out. I went automation workflows. I'm going to create a brand new one from scratch. Now, normally you pick contact-based, deal-based, maybe ticket-based if you're using Service Hub. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom. Lead-based, okay? I can now, if I specify, take a look at when I set up my triggers. When filter criteria is met, what do you know? We're filtering on lead. Check out all these various lead-specific properties, okay? Label, name, owner, source, number of emails, last engagement date. So you can start curating very specific workflows based on leads. Another area where we can now use those leads fields is lists, contacts, lists, right? If I head on over here, I can create a list. Once again, I can stick with company-based here because you'll notice when I'm scrolling in my left-hand column, you just see my test custom objects. But if I go ahead and create a list and I add a filter, I love active lists, of course. You'll notice I'm currently filtering on contact. Well, if I click that and scroll on through, you'll notice I can now filter on lead object, okay? And those filters are identical to the ones we just looked at in workflow. Something that it's not connected to, and this will change, I have confidence. These specific fields here can't be updated, right? So let me take a look at settings and scroll over to properties in the left-hand column. You'll notice I have contact properties, company, cake order, deals, no leads. Okay. However, since this is pretty new, I imagine that this will change in the future where you can add lead object specific fields. Okay. So what have we learned? We got a cool new functionality for those folks that are used to using prospecting, similar functions with leads in Salesforce. You've been looking forward to it for a long time. Of course, other sales pros that have been out there are configuring workarounds in HubSpot to achieve this distinction between contact and lead. You can now sigh a breath of relief, right? Leads, the object allows you to easily review those very specific sales ready leads and their current status, the last activity, and the next activity. As we saw, you can schedule the next activity or actually perform said activity in real time from that prospecting tab, clicking the leads tab, right? And of course, you can report on the efficacy of those efforts. So don't be scared, get in there, start pushing some buttons and exploring this. Again, paid sales seats only, and happy HubSpotting.